Well, hello. We're almost done with our study of biblical civics. Thank you for sticking with it. And we're now on week number 11. And I'm going to give you some tools here in this lesson that I think you'll be really encouraged by and hopefully be able to use. But before we get to that, I want to set it up a little bit more. As you take action in the civil realm, what are you really trying to do? What am I really trying to do with my activism? What am I trying to accomplish? And we need to back up a little bit. And really, I think a good passage to go to is Psalm chapter 2. And we find that Scripture asks a very important question, which no doubt we've all asked in our own minds. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? And he says this: the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So you find that there's two things that are going on here. What the kings of the earth are trying to do, and this is important as we take action in civil government because we're fighting against these two things. What are they? The rulers, the kings of the earth, they are taking counsel together against the Lord, and they're trying to break the bands asunder. They're trying to unite the world against God, that's globalism, and they're trying to break the bands asunder, which is to destroy the biblical boundaries upon government. They're trying to break down the separations between the jurisdictions. They're trying to break down the laws that stop them from doing whatever they want. And so those are the two twin pieces, I believe, that we are to pursue as Christians in government, is to stop the spread of globalism, that Tower of Babel that the devil has been trying to build for thousands of years. And we are to impose and require that God's boundaries on government be maintained. And really, the first piece is also a type of God's boundaries upon governments, which is national boundaries, the boundaries between nations themselves. And those are things that God has set up specifically because he wants the gospel to advance. And he knows how those national borders need to be set in order for the most possible people to come to him. And so we need to maintain those national borders. God knows how they need to be, and he will keep them in those places. But the devil wants to destroy those boundaries, whether it's on nations or whether it's on the powers of governments themselves. So what do we need to do as we take action? One of the really important things is to build relationships with your representative. And this is something that's, I think, much more simple than many people give it credit for. You want to just really call somebody up on the phone. It might be your local councilman, it might be your state legislator, it might be a congressman. Take a moment to reach out, invite them to coffee, and sit down and talk with them. And know what you're going to say, and then say it. Don't be ashamed, and listen and learn, and then encourage them and be supportive of them and build that relationship with them. You don't want to just preach at them. You don't want to just tell them exactly how you think at first. You do want to cultivate a communication with them, but it's much easier than many people realize. In fact, you might even go down to the state capitol. You might be able to just walk in. Most states, you can just walk into their offices and talk to them in their offices, or at least talk to their staff, schedule something. Those are things that I encourage you to do, is to set up those meetings, set up those communications, and try to do it in as much of a friendly way as you can to get to know these people. They're human. They're normal people. most of them are, unless they've been completely corrupted and or burned out by the system, which some have. But many of them are good, genuine people who are trying to do what is right as best as they know how. And I would encourage you to talk to them and find out what makes them tick, and then share with them what matters to you once you've gotten to know them a little bit. So that would be the approach I would encourage you to take. If you don't feel comfortable talking to legislators, talking to your representatives, at least take action in your community. At least do things that will set the stage and make the playing field more level for others to get involved. And there's some ways we discuss in the book about this, and I would encourage you to look into those things. If you really feel courageous and you think that God is calling you to do it, and you've tried the building of a relationship, the next thing is to become more of a prophet, to take more of a stand and speak out. And we also get into that in the book of when and how to do that as well. But there does come a time when God's people have to cry out against that which is evil, against sin and against oppression. And that is something that God may be asking you to do as well. So however you choose to approach it, I ask you to have wisdom. I ask you to have the mind of Christ and try to join with other people who are like-minded. Don't try to do it alone. Seek to be part of a team. Seek to be part of either your church would be a great way to do this together, or your class could do it together. But find other people who are like-minded who can come alongside you, and then be sure that you have love for others as you go out and try to make a difference as well. But this is a great opportunity, especially here in America, to impact and influence. It's not just about getting people out to vote. It's not just about even electing the right candidates. It's also about holding those people accountable once they are elected and supporting them and encouraging them, helping to guide them in the right direction. And I think that you'll be surprised at the influence that you can have when you build those relationships and become more of a part of the life of those who are trying to represent you.